Welcome back. You're watching France 24 and it's time for Media Watch, our roundup of the international news stories creating the most buzz today. Rebecca Bowring is here with me with the latest. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello, Lana.
And we start with The Maid's Tale, and that's Dominique StraussKahn's accuser, the New York housemaid, that's finally speaking to the media for the first time.
Yeah, let's go straight, if we can, to the article the New York Times is running on this. I don't know if there's anything that will strike you as a little bit strange about this article, but it's the first time that this leading US paper has actually given the name of the alleged victim in this case in full. Now, her identity has been circulating freely here in France, but there's a kind of gentleman's agreement almost amongst Anglophone media outlets to have not said, given that name up until now. No, it's not banned under US law, but certainly it's the first time now that she's come forward, we can, of course, speak freely about her. So she's 32-year-old Nafissatou Diallo from Guinea, which we did know. She spoke to Newsweek exclusively on Sunday and then to ABC's Good Morning America show today. Now, incidentally, it was the Paris bureau chief, Christopher Dickey, who is a regular on France 24, who actually carried out that 3-hour interview with her. And speaking on the debate earlier, he was saying that his meeting helped to clear up some things about the story that he didn't really understand. For instance, how could allegedly such a small man as Dominique StraussKahn force himself on a woman who's quite a bit bigger than I am? He said that he found her account compelling. So what did we learn? Well, she gave quite sketchy details of her life in rural Africa. We know that she's illiterate. She's described as not a glamorous woman. I'm not quite sure what the journalists were expecting. And that her crying sometimes seemed a little bit forced, but she was in a situation under a lot of pressure to talk about this. She was apparently raped in Conakry back in 2001 and escaped with her daughter to the United States for a better life. And she talks about how much she loved her job at the Sofitel. Graphic details of that alleged sexual encounter in this particular article. You know, it doesn't make for pleasant reading. There are some inconsistencies. For instance, she didn't mention in her hospital follow-up report that there'd been any dialogue with the alleged attacker. And she does mention that, and she talks about that in some detail in this particular article. She says, "God is my witness, I'm telling the truth. I want him to go to jail." So why is she speaking now? We have to ask ourselves.
It's fairly unusual, right? In criminal cases like this one, it just doesn't happen.
It certainly wouldn't in the United Kingdom, because it would be seen as potentially prejudicing any kind of future trial. But she has been allowed to speak, and her revelations, I think, are putting pressure, or aim to put pressure, on Cyrus Vance Jr., the Manhattan District Attorney. And we don't know whether or not the case is going to go ahead. Of course, there have been speculation it will collapse because of questions about her credibility. But the prosecution has nothing to lose, and they're trying to say, well, you know, bolster support and some momentum for her side of the story.
All right, and it really is one of these he says, she says cases. So both people's accounts, hers and Dominique StraussKahn's, are really crucial.
Exactly.
It's her word against his.
Mm-hmm.
We're staying in New York for this next story. Wedding bells have been ringing for same-sex couples. We've been waiting for this since the bill passed about a month ago.
That's right. It was about a month ago. It's a new era for gay rights at the Big Apple. New York State becomes the 6th in the United States to officially legalise gay marriage. So on Sunday, about 800 gay couples headed for the altar. Now, in Huffington Post, that's a news aggregator, the New York section has a photo gallery that you can see the first of those couples to get hitched. Phyllis Siegel and Connie Kopilov. Do you know that they're two grandmothers, so they've been waiting a very long time for this?
I saw their pictures earlier today. It was really a very moving moment there.
It was. It's very, very sweet to see this couple finally making their way up the aisle. Now, the Mayor, Michael Bloomberg, had been very much behind this piece of legislation. He said a couple of months ago, near equality is no equality for gay couples. And in fact, he officiated at one of the ceremonies. Two of his aides got married. We can take a look at a video now where he pronounces them man and wife, or man and husband.
Gay marriage will be legal in New York State. New York City alone has received close to 2,000 same-sex applications. The city originally planned to fill a limited number of Sunday marriage slots through a lottery, but later announced all entrants would be accommodated. Albany plans to one-up New York City. 10 couples will have the chance to be married as early as midnight Sunday by Mayor Jerry Jennings. However,
actually, Liana, that was a spoof clip that was made by a Taiwanese TV company which is discussing this very issue. It seems that they love to make sort of animated videos of interesting topics, so that's what we were seeing there. We're going to cross now to Great Britain, in fact.
Right, and the reactions continue after the death of singer-songwriter Amy Winehouse.
That's right. There have been a huge number of tributes paid to Amy Winehouse online. The soul singer, she was found, as we know, dead on Saturday back in her flat in North London. Let's take a little look at the computer here. So Google Plus, the brand new social network. There's an Amy Winehouse tribute that fans have put together here on the page. It has a couple of her video clips and also some photos from a kind of makeshift shrine. You can see that there's been set up with people sort of going to pay their respects, and there's also some beautiful photos of her when she was younger. You know, very innocent schoolgirl.
Yeah,
yes. That's not an image of Amy Winehouse we see very often. Russell Brand, who's quite well known in the United Kingdom and probably further around the world for being the husband of Katy Perry. He's the comedian. He knew Amy Winehouse quite well, and on his website he's posted a very, very poignant sort of letter to Amy. It's just sort of flicked down too far there, but there's lots and lots of comments.
I believe he's battled with addiction as well, and he addressed that issue.
Exactly, that's what makes it all the more sort of telling, because he went to rehab and he recovered. He had an alcohol and a drug addiction, but he says that when you love someone who suffers from an addiction, you await the phone call. Now, either the phone call will be to say that they are on the road to recovery, or unfortunately that they've passed away. So it's extremely sort of emotional tribute to Amy Winehouse. They're one of the great geniuses of this generation, he says. The rapper MIA is also posted, we can see here on SoundCloud. This is a tribute through music. It's dedicated, she says, to all her friends who died at the age of 27, because, in fact, strangely enough, it seems to be almost like an unlucky number for troubled singer-songwriters. So you can listen to that track from MIA there. I'll just see if I can get it going. In the meantime, yes, on this website, The Daily Beast, we have a really beautiful photo gallery all about Amy Winehouse and some of the others who have died at the same age at 27. You know, we've got Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, and quite a few articles coming out today talking about the Forever 27 Club, as it's called. You know, why do so many of these talented young singers perish at the age of 27? And this article from the Globe and Mail in Canada suggests that it's not coincidence. Well, it's more to do with coincidence, to do with bad luck, than it is to do with any kind of curse or anything like that. But it's to do with, you know, young people perhaps getting into excesses around that age when they're discovered, you know, when their musical talent is discovered, then they sort of move into the realms of excess. But it suggests that quite a lot of them have died because of bad luck.
All right, well, thanks very much indeed for that roundup of the day's top media stories. Rebecca Bowering, that was Media Watch on France 24. Stay with us, Live from Paris continues.